We're going to replace the Rocksport MetalCloak Shocks on my 3.5 Gamechanger MetalCloak lift with Falcon SP2 3.3 Piggyback Shocks. So since we don't have a lift, we have to put the Jeep up on jack stands. So I use these ESCO jack stands and a floor jack that I've had for a while and some wooden blocks.
Yeah, definitely a little sketchy here.
With the 3.5 Gamechanger lift and 35s, I have to fully extend the ESCO jack stands. So I'm just raising the Jeep and putting each jack stand up one at a time. Driver's side first, then passenger side. So I put the jack stand on the rear diff. I get a little tension on it, but I don't actually lift it. The tires are still on the ground. That way I can loosen the lug nuts and they still are sitting with weight on the ground, even though it looks like I was. And then I go back and I actually lift them up and I use these cheapo, sketchy jack stands. I wouldn't ever use these like I use the ESCOs, but on the axle, they hold the axle up. And now I come back and I take off the wheels. So now we need to take the front fender liners off. We have the MetalCloak fender liners. Most of them are these 5/32 Allens. There's two bigger bolts, and they're 7/32 Allens. And obviously, if you don't have these MetalCloak fender liners, then it's completely different. And there's a number of videos out there for the stock ones. We basically use 19mm and 18mm socket and wrench to remove the existing shock, which in our case is the Rocksports. So with the MetalCloak Gamechanger, there's a relocation bracket you see here that moves 90 degrees the bottom mount. I leave this bracket in place. It works fine with the Falcons. If you have a stock setup, then you're obviously going to have shorter shocks. You just use the stock mount and you can kind of see the spaced bushing there. That is the stock mount. So again, you can see the MetalCloak relocation bracket here that twists 90 degrees the mount from stock. And here we're just adjusting the axle so that we can get the hole lined up for the bolt. I'm just lowering the other side a little lower so that we can get it to droop down. And once you're lined up, then we just work the bolt in and put the nut on.
You can see it's a tight fit with the Grim Off-Road ARB mount, but it works. So we'll just repeat the same steps on the passenger side for the front shocks.
So these shocks have in the instructions, depending on whether you're in cold weather or warm weather. And cold weather is like cold weather, like Alaska weather. Which way you need to rotate at least 360 degrees. We live in Arizona. We are not cold weather. So they call the warm weather performance. But it's really just adjusting the valving inside according to temperature, and you just got to rotate it at least 360 degrees the way you want and then line up. So then you just torque down, like the instructions say, 56 foot-pounds of torque.
Front is all done. We're moving on to the rear of the vehicle.
So I'm just lowering the rear axle until the shock is fully extended so it doesn't shove down hard under tension when we take the bolt out. So the rear have this sleeve that goes on. So I put it on and I just thumb tighten all 3 screws in place, get them lined up. And then I take one out at a time, put a little Loctite in it, and then put it back in and tighten it down.
Visually, this really looks like a good quality product. And we saw there's a card included in the box with signatures from the guys that put the shocks together for us.
So then you gotta do the same rotation depending on whether you're cold or warm weather.
Once we rotate it in place, we just line up the bolt holes by lowering and lifting the axle again. And now we repeat the same steps on the other side.
Just like on the front, you don't want to forget to torque down to 56 foot-pounds of torque, since that's what the instructions say.
Yeah, the upper and lower bolts.
So then we just put the wheels back on. My lovely assistant helps me be lazy about that.
Jeremy used the plasma cutter to cut into the fender liner so there's room for your fingers to adjust the knobs. We also spray painted it black to prevent rusting, even though it's aluminum, I believe, so it probably won't rust.
Yeah, it doesn't rust.
And since we've installed it, we've gone fully loaded overlanding trips, rode it naked on off-road trails.
And by naked, the Jeep was naked. We weren't naked. So I've been setting these shocks stiff when fully loaded with overland gear doing interstate driving. I'll set them soft, of course, when we hit trails. And then I run a custom 2.3, 2.4 for daily driving. And I tend to run 32 to 34 PSI road driving.
Thank you for watching. Hope you find this video helpful. Please subscribe for future Jeep builds and trip reports.